So recently there was a war on the Towny-Exalted that involved many of the largest nations going up against New Dawn, the aggressor in this case. Now if you're new to this channel, I'm going to be creating historical videos on the Minecraft server MineSuperior about subserver Towny-Exalted. Towny-Exalted is a history-rich subserver with all kinds of wars, nations, diplomacy, towns, people, and objects of those who are and were famous or lost and banned. On this video we will be discussing a fairly recent event that affected the server, which I shall be dubbing the Nations-NewDawn War, or New Dawn's Mayday. Now for a general gist of this, the war has technically been posed by both sides as who was the aggressor. So first we're going to be discussing the pre-war conflicts to decide on who is. So to begin with, we need to understand what we're even starting off with. Let's start with the obvious contender, New Dawn. New Dawn was at its highest point on the /n list as the third largest nation on the server as of May 9th to May 11th. The nations that were fighting against it were the four largest nations at the time: Empire, Ancient, South Scott, and the Black Horsemen. And of course, one little nation that got brought into the conflict, the Dominion of Georgia. Empire was the largest nation on the server and held some power. Ancient was the second largest that held the power in terms of shops. And South Scott and the Black Horsemen usually trailed between 5th and 8th place. So with this down, now we need to get into the ignition of the war. How exactly did it start? In Xenoblaze's official museum record, and from other leaders and people, it seems to be that it was the toxicity and bribing done by New Dawn that caused all this. Now from what I've personally seen, it started about May 11th after an incident went down, when, in early May, now ex-Soviet council member of New Dawn, Papa V. Lenin, was causing a scene of calling everyone a Nazi. This, along with some random guy spawning animals saying join New Dawn map shop, caused the nation to declare war. Now for the bribing, there is no source or known person that was doing the actual act, but in a quote from the player Brandon,
he's upset that New Dawn took people. They bribed TechYes's members, and I understand it was not you guys. That's why I'm not understanding why TechYes is mad at you guys.
This confirms that some form of bribery did take place, most likely not from the actual New Dawn staff, but from somebody within New Dawn who convinced or paid citizens and towns from other nations to join New Dawn. As for the whole toxicity thing, there has always been an anti-empire sentiment with the nation, which the nation's staff always showed, with Papa V. Lenin being the worst of it. So now, three nations, Empire, South Scott, and the Black Horsemen, all declared war on New Dawn, and were fully invested in it. But one thing keeping Ancient out was so far diplomacy to not go into one, and possibly arrange some sort of peace, or at least non-aggression. One bit of information that was found was that Brandon had set up a Discord meeting to the attacking nation's kings and a few co-kings on these plans to take down New Dawn. Georgia, through all of this, was just sitting by until South Scott gave the green or red flag. Unfortunately, it was the green flag. On 12:25 a.m. on May 12th, Ollie66 posted this comment in the New Dawn Discord, which you could pause and read, which can be viewed either as a protest or a stand against the intruders. This gave South Scott the green card to give Georgia to get them into the war. As of May 12th, all these nations were now at war. From there, the economic barriers went up, and it slowly starved New Dawn. In fact, this starving was bad enough that on May 14th, there was another conference, only this time was between Brandon, to Ollie J101, Desired FB, and Ollie66, some of the Code Kings and staff, on the situation. Day after day, the amount of towns and population decreased until about the current date of May 23rd, when the population hit 222 residents with 28 towns. This was a staggering decline, seeing that as before this war, there was approximately 1,300 residents with 56 towns. But now it has declined by a massive 93.33%. Despite all this, however, the nation has not died out and instead has been put into an archive mode and will simply stay until there is no money left or they choose to disband it. But the obvious question here is, how did it drop that much in the time span that happened? Well, for New Dawn, it was because it contained two of the largest towns on the server, Liberty and Leningrad. These two towns consisted a large percent of the nation's population. Like the other towns that left, it seems obvious of why they left themselves. Ancient Empire held the majority of the large shops, as South Scott and the Black Horsemen held the next few large shops, and all these nations held the largest grinders. Because of these economic spots becoming inaccessible, and New Dawn not having any big-name shops or grinders themselves for their own players to go to, this led to either players leaving to other towns and nations, or the whole town quitting the nation, period. Liberty and Leningrad had to make a move before they started losing their own population until they were just stuck with inactive players that never came back. So they had to leave, and they did. The remaining towns within New Dawn did the same until there were only the inactive ones remaining, or the ones that have not realized their situation. These shall decay until they collapse, or the nation does. Now this is mainly a theory of what may have happened. There might have been an entirely different reason for why they left, but this is the most logical one that I can deduct from all the evidence given. So now we come to the end result of the war. The result can either be viewed as a positive or a negative depending on what side you're on. Empire and its allies viewed New Dawn as a threat for them bribing off towns and for trying to get some of them banned. But this latter part sounds a bit sketchy without any actual evidence of it. Still, with New Dawn gone, there is no threat for them to these accounts of bribery. But on the flip side for New Dawn, this was probably their greatest loss, seeing their nation pummeled into the dirt and becoming an archived piece in history, possibly to never return. And all of this caused by one man and a couple douchebags. And to make this worse, as stated of never coming back, is a theoretical question given to one of Empire's staff, such as Xenoblaze here, asking what if New Dawn was given a second chance to make up for their mistakes and to not cause these problems again, and if they reformed. He simply answered,
Nope.
If you've made it this far in the video, thank you very much for watching, and please do suggest any ideas or content for the viewing that you might like. But of course, we need to cut this video out to actually put down the names of the people who have helped contribute information, videos, and bits of important details that were needed for this, and corrections, of course. The following people we're going to be including are Xenoblaze, Ollie J101, Tsunami City, and an anonymous person who wanted to be called Leningrad. Also, please, if you know these people, please do not target them, and please do not cause them problems. And to end this video, I want to give a tribute to New Dawn. As a showing of respect, I will play their national anthem, and will be giving them, their members, a viewing for their gratitude to this server, and to their history part. Thank you.